Up, coming down, nothing new here, but I don't understand the reason why it pushed up. Perhaps simply because they were oversold, and they pushed up. And
Bonds fell all last night, though.
yep, yep, yep,
That's probably why.
most likely, yep. And now they're coming down, and most likely it's gonna. I think it tested that 50 and bounced off of that number right here, just like this. And I think it will do it again. This time, I believe it's gonna come back in. So I'm waiting for 8 below 21 here. So if that happens, I think we're in a clear to come back down. Watching the regular chart as well, regular candles as well. If the 8 below 21 happens, then we are coming down. We will test this 50 on the 15, and if that breaks, we are clear. We are clear to push down into 39.25. So in that case, this is my base case 39.31, simply because there's a big move in average. If that breaks, my good to have would be 39.25. And if that breaks, then we're looking for a push into 39.17. Let's look at it on the 1 hour. This is the chart that I follow for the most part for trading and getting a handle on the day. So right now here, this chart pattern, I recognize this gets overbought. It did not get overbought thoroughly. However, this thing hit the second standard deviation, coming down into 5, coming down into 8. Now, if it breaks below here, there's a very solid support around this area. So if it breaks below there, then my base case would be 39.30, and then the mean is sitting at around 39.24. If it breaks below there, then we're looking for a push into 39.18, and our indicator is telling that 39.08 is pretty much sitting there. And until that changes, this range would remain intact. Basically, this is the range that you want to play this in: 39.58 to the top and 39.09 to the bottom. Right. So if it comes down into 39.09, the pretty much the case is 3900. So we will that hit that number. But for all practical purpose, you're waiting on 3909 to the downside, and to the upside 3958. That's the range that you want to play within. Uh, and well, this looks overbought here, and it pushed up, fair enough. And now here, if it comes into this range, and I don't know if you guys saw the analysis from George, that was bang on. That was bang on. In fact, and he said he went back and looked into the data for past, I don't know, a few years, and it took about 60 days to 45 days to reach back to the mean. And I don't know what day we are in now. And so his according to his thesis, we should be getting somewhere close to the mean reversion. And I do happen to agree with him, but it depends largely on what Apple does. And the mean reversion is still about let's give or take 4100. So 130, 170 points. Well, that remains to be seen. We don't know yet, right? So in fact, 170 or better than close to, let's say, 100 200 points, close to 200 points. Day 28, 29, right? And that is close to 200 points on the S&P from where it closed yesterday. Are we going to do that? Most likely not in one day. However, if we can enter this zone about 40.52, then we are looking for a push into 4100. For now, not plotting any of that stuff. For now, we are looking for a hit of this number. Yesterday, we were looking for on the SPX. We'll look at it again. The hit of five. That's where this is sitting right now. If it hit the five and came down, so the base case to the upside is the five on the daily. And if it breaks above that, then we're looking for a good to have is 39.80. That's the eight on the daily. Plotting nothing beyond that right now. If in fact, if it does clear the eight on the daily, then we're looking for a push into inner Bollinger Band. If that happens, then we are good to go into the mean. And I'll keep you guys updated on all of these data points. And for now, I think the five is still the base case. If it clears the five, then we're looking for a push into the eight. And how will that?
You don't see a test of that 38.56.
Can I have a smoothie or something healthy? Yeah, good idea.
Say that again.
Who the fuck was that?
That was Simon.
Simon.
What was that, Ryan?
You don't see a retest after. I mean, right now it's in an upward wedge and it looks to be breaking down futures. You don't see it
This.
retesting that low
Yeah,
of
yeah, right here.
38.56.
Right here, right here. If it comes back, no, 38.56. We will reassess the situation if it actually breaks the mean on the 1 hour, right about here. If it breaks below 39.24, then we will reassess the situation. The mean on the 1 hour is, quite powerful. You'll see a lot of bounces around this area. Mean on the 1 hour. If it breaks below there, then we're looking for a push into 3900. If it in fact breaks below there, then we'll be looking for a push into this number, which is about 38.95. After that, we'll look for that. For now, this is where I'm sitting. If it in fact breaks the mean 39.24, then we're looking for a push into this number,
Right. Okay.
3900.
3,900.
Yep.
All right.
The
I can get
thing.
with that. I can get with that.
Nice. So, how would we get there? Apple is Apple is it. If you want to be following the markets upside, downside, whichever way, you gotta be with Apple. If you can't figure out Apple, there's pretty much you're blindsided. So Apple cleared yesterday. We were looking for a test of this number, the 100 on the weekly. Apple cleared that number, and looks like we are getting into that one standard deviation. So if it pushes, sorry, third standard deviation, which it has to, it is outside of the third standard deviation on the weekly. That is, that's pretty much not how things should work. Needs to come back at least into its first standard deviation, test that, and I believe it is doing that right now. If it fails the test, then we are looking for back push back into this 138, which is the 100 moving average on the weekly, and that would be my base case to the downside. And if it starts to push up, then we should be seeing this 143.60 number tested again to the upside. If it breaks above that, then we'll look for further upside. If not, and that's the reason, that's the key. If it breaks above this number, then we are looking for a hit of the mean, perhaps tomorrow or on Monday, or if Apple catches a rally or short covering rally. And I see online here and there that many of the money managers are advising their clients to buy Apple. So I don't know if that's a good idea. However, if indeed it plays out that the Apple that people start buying Apple, then it will push the whole market up along with it. It just needs one other stock like Microsoft or Amazon to hit alongside. If that starts happening, then you before you know it, you'll be entering the inner Bollinger Band on the daily. So this is my base case to the downside, the 100 moving average on the weekly, and to the upside we'll figure out a little later, but this is the line I'm watching for the upside. If it crosses above that line, then I'll look for further upside. And Apple on the daily, the 5 is way above here, 142.70, 142.93. A test of 5 is pretty much it needs to happen, I guess, now. Why? Because we opened here yesterday and pushed up all the way here and closed all the way towards up on the top end of the the candle. So a test of 5 wouldn't surprise me, but I'm not rooting for it. A test of 5, 148.95, 142.95 wouldn't surprise me, but I'm not rooting for it. I don't want to see that happen. I want to see Apple push down basically. But if it does happen, then we'll take a closer look at that. And if it clears the 5, then we're looking for a push into the 8, 145.51. That would spark a big rally if that actually happens, and the mean would be taken out easily if this happens. So keep an eye on that. Would I be playing with this? No, I will go down on my 1 hour chart, and this is where I will be looking to place my trades, or I'll be looking to day trade with this chart. So we're looking for a push into this number now. Looks like there is, even if there's not enough ammo here, but looks like the this thing crossed above, MACD crossed above. So if the MACD sustains to the upside, algos pick up on this, and MACD sustains to the upside, then we are looking for a sustained push. And in fact, if eight above 21 happens on the 1 hour, then we are looking for a sustained rally to the upside. So yeah, so right now we're getting these big candles here, and if it clears the mean on the 1 hour, and this is the reason mean is a big deal. You see how the mean is pushing it down, right? So if it clears the mean, then we're looking for a push into this number. Most likely we'll get it 139 or 140 actually. So if we hit that number, then we'll reassess the situation to the upside. So my base case to the upside is 139.33 because of mean, right? From yesterday, if you look at it, we are up what 113, about one close to $2. So if it clears there, the mean, we're looking for a push into this number, 139.90. If it clears there, we're looking for the further upside, perhaps into 142. Cool thing, and that's how if Apple starts to push up, that's the only reason that the market will actually go anywhere near the daily mean. And let's look at VIX. VIX, my expectation from VIX is, VIX kind of tells you about stability, right? VIX, what, what, what happened? What happened? All right. So, do you guys see that? Somehow it turned upside down. Anyway, so here, VIX, I believe VIX still has room to the downside. I believe that VIX needs to come back into this number again. So right now, VIX is testing right about here somewhere. So I think at least VIX needs to come back into 2790 or something like that, or 28. 28. Yeah. So give or take, there is, I think, 1 point down on VIX to be had. And if VIX does actually come back into that number and starts breaking below there, then we are looking for 2750 to get hit. And if 2750 breaks, then we're looking for a test of yesterday's lows or day before yesterday's lows, right about here. The 50 moving average on the daily, that's what we're looking to hit. 26, somewhere around 26.16 to 26 range. And that's the bigger picture. Now I want to go back into 1 hour chart. This is the chart that I'll be watching. VIX is getting oversold here, right? So VIX is getting oversold. SMI is trying to curl back up, and the other thing that we are watching is the well, we are not there yet, but we'll be watching the MACD, right? We'll be watching the MACD on the SPX as well. So right now, this is very clear. This chart is very, very, very clear what is happening. Just by a glance, you can tell that the 50 is acting as support here. So we are looking for a break below that number. If it doesn't break below that number, if it continues to the upside, then we're looking for, if it clears the 5, then we're looking for a push into the 8. That is about 28.94. If that clears, then we're looking for a push into 29.50. That's how I want to see that happen. And the red dots are telling me that this is where somewhere here it's going to stop. However, if it actually enters this zone right here, I believe there's a very good chance it's going to go hit the mean on the hourly. For now, I think this is where it's going to go and starts to push down from somewhere here, 2890. If it clears 2890, then we're looking for a push into 2950. And while trading, as the markets open, keep an eye on all of these data points. Right, just because the markets is open doesn't mean that you need to change your game plan. This is your game plan. Stick to that game plan, right? Or whatever game plan that you have created for yourself. Stick to it. Just as the market open, just don't go running around looking for trades and whatnot. Have a game plan in place. Follow that game plan for the day, or at least for the hour. Right. Once the hour is done, then you can look for something else. You can keep formulating your game plan, or keep adjusting your game plan for that matter. So yeah, look for that. And let's get into Bitcoin actually. So this thing is by and large, telling us about risk on or risk off environment. And this is just how it's been. The correlation is uncanny here. Now, Bitcoin is threatening to break above its 8 on the daily. And if it does actually break above the daily, then we're looking for a rally in Bitcoin to about 31, 300 or something. Right. So this is what we are looking for. Actually, if it pushes above here, we're looking for a push into this number, 31,400. If indeed it can push up into 31,400 and cross above 31,500, then we're looking for a push into its daily mean, which is about 32,700. And this would be nice to have today, if it, in fact, if it happens. If not, we'll go back to, if it rejects the 8 here, then we're looking for a hit of 5. If it breaks below 5, then we are looking for it to continue push down into 29. And 1,000 points down on Bitcoin, that will push the stocks down. This is an asset class that is now emblematic of real issues for investors. uh, so let's keep an eye on this. In fact, I'll keep an eye on this. I'll keep updating everybody over the voice. Now let's get into SPX. SPX, well, this is where 4050 is what it needs to come back into. It will come back into this number. Might not be today, uh, might be perhaps next week, but it needs to come back into this number, right? It needs to test this number and then perhaps push down. So that's the number that everybody is waiting on, I guess. And this would be achieved only and only if Apple starts to push up. And that's the reason we keep watching Apple. Majority of the day, I keep watching Apple. And this is not my base case to the upside. However, I'll be keeping a watch on this number. Now let's go back into the daily. The 5 is sitting at right here, 39.63. So this is still not my base case, but it wouldn't surprise me to see 39.65 on SPX. And I think the futures kind of pushed up till here. Let's see, what is it, 39.50. Okay. So I believe that this should be achievable. Am I rooting for it? Well, actually not. But if it does happen, that's a good thing to have. And if it actually clears here, 39.65, then we're looking for a push into the 8, about 39.90, or give or take 400, 4,000. The mean is sitting all the way around 4,100. Am I looking for that? Right now, no. Right now, no. But this needs to happen, right? The last time when we were at the mean is all the way here, somewhere around here, 12th of April. So the mean, there's no hard and fast rule that the mean reversion needs to happen or something like that. However, it is a very good idea to keep an eye on that. We haven't hit the third standard deviation yet. Just another thing, so there is no urgency for us to go back to the mean. And Mean and 21 are intertwined right now. So I don't know. I don't know if I want to actually see a mean reversion. However, if it starts to push down, then we are looking for a push into 38.50. That's where the second standard deviation is sitting. And Okay, let's look at this thing here. The second standard deviation is sitting here, 38.68 on the Heikanashi, and about 38.50 on the regular candles. That's the range that I would be watching to the downside for a bottom. And that's my good to have. That's not my base case, though. That's my good to have. So 40 points to the downside from where it closed yesterday, and it's 50 points to the downside from where it closed yesterday is my downside case, and my upside case, 50 points from where it closed, about 60 points from where it closed yesterday. So right now, if the markets were to be open, they're trading at about 39.30. So somewhere around here, right? So so given those conditions, my base case to the upside is 5, right? I hope you're getting the math there. But yesterday, our base case was close to the 1 hour mean. Yesterday night, our base case was perhaps somewhere around here, 39.24 or something like that. However, Now the market itself is trading above that, somewhere around here. The base case would be here, 39.58 or something like that. So that's the base case to the upside. If it clears there, then the mean is sitting at 39.74. Not plotting anything beyond that. If it actually clears the mean, then we are looking for a push into the 50. Then perhaps then we are looking for a test of the super trend on the 1 hour, which is also coinciding with the 4,000 number. So my base case to the upside, 39, let's call it 39.60. Then a good to have is the mean on the 1 hour, 39.75. And to the downside, we are still looking for that 3900 as a base case, because where the market is right now, we are looking for a push into 3900. If that happens, then we are looking for a push into 3890. Based on, I'm going by these dots here. And if it in fact breaches below that, then we are looking for a push into this first second standard deviation, 3850 to 3860 range. And in fact, if it breaks below that, then we have a whole big, push to the downside. The third standard deviation is all the way at 3700. And I would rather like to see this as soon as possible. The deeper and sharper correction, the sooner that happens, the better it is. Not really. I think we should be range bound, Ryan, today. We should be range bound today. We should be very range bound. So this is the chart that I'll be looking to operate with on for SPX, the upside and the downside. If it breaks below there, then we're looking for. I believe it would be similar to yesterday's range. These dots would let us know which way we are leaning. However, for now, this is the range that I'm playing: 39.50 to the upside and perhaps 38.90 to the downside. And either side the range breaks, then we look for further into that area. And one another data point that I think you should be aware of is the 10 year. So 10 year is doing okay. 10 year is doing not phenomenally well, but it's doing okay here. It managed to somehow stay above this 8 on the weekly. It managed to stay above that, and that is encouraging actually. But going by all the other technicals, we're just waiting on MACD crossover. The MACD crossover happens, the SMI or stochastics has already crossed over here. Now waiting for MACD crossover. If that happens, then we're looking for a further downside on that. Hopefully, we don't get that downside on the 10 year. Hopefully, it keeps on chugging along to the upside. However, the technicals are telling us there is a very good chance of MACD crossing to the downside. That happens, yeah, it's going to be trouble. Now, one thing that I would really want to hammer this, and I've been talking about this, throughout this month, that doesn't matter what happens to the 10 year, goes up or goes down, stock market is effed. Okay, it's pretty it's there's no other way. There's just no other way until the government comes out with some massive spending plan, build back better, whatever not it is. Until that happens, the direction of the market is to the downside. Categorically, it's to the downside. I don't doubt that. Fed will keep pushing the rates up, and that should keep the 10 year going up. Doesn't matter if the 10 year goes up, the markets will get wrecked. Doesn't matter if the 10 year goes down, the markets will get wrecked. Why 10 year goes up, then the valuations have to come down. If the 10 year goes down, then the recession is pretty much there. So that's the reason, right? So it doesn't matter what happens. You are in the stock market will take a beating. Stock market will take a beating. The smart money is exiting the stock market. It's been exiting since December itself. So that thing will continue to happen. And yesterday we looked at the PE on the S&P. It's sitting close to about I think just a smidge below 18. I would think that the way things are going, the P is contracting now. The E needs to contract, and the E will continue to contract, and the PE will come back below 17, perhaps go down close to 16 as well. So that's where the bottom, you could look for a bottom on the stock market. PE coming down below 17 or perhaps close to 16.5 or perhaps even close to 16. That's where you would see some sort of bottom for the markets. So if anybody asks you, how do you look for a bottom? That is exactly how you look for a bottom. All right. 5 minutes to the open. Anybody, any other data points? Uh,
Tesla.
Tesla. Why? Why, Rob? Why?
For data points, that's all. You said it's a
No,
sentiment.
no, no, no. You are.
Puts it open. Puts it open. Puts it open.
Here he goes. Sweet talking me,
Stay away,
dog.
Rob. Stay away. I'm
Give me those
telling you.
levels.